Now, before we dive into the 5 specific foods that people like Margaret swear by, foods backed by decades of nutritional research, let me be honest with you about something most health channels won't say out loud. Aging is not a disease. Your body is not broken because you turned 60 or 70 or 80. But the food you put into your body every single day is either building you up or quietly tearing you down, one meal at a time. There is no neutral. Every bite is a vote. And here's what fascinates me. The longest-lived, youngest-looking people on this planet, the ones in Okinawa, Japan, in Sardinia, Italy, in Loma Linda, California, they don't take 37 supplements. They don't follow extreme diets. They eat the same handful of real, whole foods almost every single day. Exposed to those consistent nutrients over years and decades, their cells respond differently. Their skin repairs faster. Their joints stay lubricated. Their brains hold on to memory like a fist around a diamond. So if you've been feeling tired, stiff, foggy, or just older than you think you should feel, stick with me through this entire video. These 5 foods are not exotic. They're not expensive. You can find every single one of them at your local grocery store this afternoon. And the science behind why they work is going to genuinely surprise you. Let's get into it. The first food is wild blueberries, not regular blueberries, wild ones. And the difference matters more than you might think. Wild blueberries are smaller, darker, and significantly more concentrated in compounds called anthocyanins. Those are the pigments that give the berries their deep, almost ink-like purple color. Now, anthocyanins are a type of antioxidant, and antioxidants are essentially your body's cleanup crew. Picture a team of tiny workers inside your bloodstream whose only job is to neutralize damage. Every day, your cells face what scientists call oxidative stress, damage from pollution, processed food, sunlight, even the simple act of breathing. That damage accumulates. It shows up as wrinkles, as brain fog, as inflammation in your joints. Anthocyanins slow that accumulation down dramatically. A study published in the Annals of Neurology followed over 16,000 women over the age of 70. The women who ate blueberries at least twice per week showed significantly slower rates of cognitive decline, the equivalent of delaying brain aging by up to 2.5 years. 2.5 years of sharper memory, clearer thinking, better recall of names and faces. From a berry. Wild blueberries specifically contain roughly twice the antioxidant concentration of their cultivated cousins. You can find them in the frozen section of most supermarkets. Wyman's is a common brand. Throw half a cup into oatmeal every morning. Blend them into a smoothie with a little yogurt. Eat them straight from the bowl, still half frozen, like tiny purple ice chips that taste like a second chance. Margaret eats them every single morning, has for 22 years. The second food is wild-caught salmon, and this one is about your skin, your heart, and your brain all at the same time. Salmon is one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically 2 types called EPA and DHA. Now, those abbreviations don't matter as much as what they actually do inside your body. EPA is profoundly anti-inflammatory. Chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that simmers beneath the surface for years without obvious symptoms, is now considered one of the primary drivers of heart disease, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and accelerated skin aging. EPA helps cool that fire. DHA, meanwhile, is a structural building block of your brain. Roughly 60% of your brain is fat, and DHA is the dominant fatty acid in its cell membranes. When DHA levels drop, which happens naturally as we age, and rapidly if we don't eat enough of it, neural communication slows down. Thoughts feel muddier. Words sit on the tip of your tongue and refuse to come forward. A 4-ounce portion of wild-caught sockeye salmon contains approximately 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. That exceeds the daily recommendation from the American Heart Association in a single serving. But here's the part most people miss. Salmon also contains a pigment called astaxanthin. It's what gives the flesh that deep coral pink color. Astaxanthin is one of the most potent skin protective compounds ever studied. It shields collagen from UV damage, improves skin elasticity, and reduces the appearance of fine lines. A 2012 study in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition found that participants who consumed astaxanthin daily for 12 weeks showed measurable improvements in wrinkle depth, moisture retention, and overall skin texture. Eat salmon 3 to 4 times per week. Bake it with lemon and dill on a sheet pan, 12 minutes at 400 degrees. The smell of it crisping around the edges, the oils pooling golden beneath the fillet, the flesh flaking apart under your fork like warm pink butter. Your body will thank you in ways you can see in the mirror. Food number 3 is extra virgin olive oil, and if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this one. People in the Mediterranean region have been drowning their food in olive oil for thousands of years, and they consistently live longer, healthier, more cognitively sharp lives than almost any other population on Earth. That is not a coincidence. Extra virgin olive oil, the unrefined, cold-pressed kind, not the cheap, pale yellow bottles that line most supermarket shelves, contains over 30 different polyphenolic compounds. Polyphenols are plant-based micronutrients that act as both antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. The most studied among them is called oleocanthal. When you taste high-quality olive oil and it creates that slight peppery burn at the back of your throat, that's oleocanthal. That compound shares a remarkably similar mechanism of action with ibuprofen. It inhibits the same inflammatory enzymes. 3 tablespoons of good olive oil deliver roughly 10% of the anti-inflammatory effect of an adult dose of ibuprofen, without touching your stomach lining or your kidneys. A massive study called PREDIMED, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, followed over 7,000 adults at high cardiovascular risk. The group that supplemented their diet with extra virgin olive oil experienced a 30% reduction in major cardiovascular events, heart attacks, strokes, cardiovascular death, compared to the control group on a standard low-fat diet. 30% from oil. Drizzle it on salads. Pour it over roasted vegetables. Dip warm, crusty bread into a shallow dish of it, the surface catching light like liquid amber. Use it as your primary cooking fat. Look for bottles that specify harvest date and origin. Single-estate Spanish or Italian oils are often the most reliable. If it costs less than $8 for a large bottle, it's almost certainly diluted with cheaper refined oils that carry none of these benefits. Your cardiovascular system, your joints, and the collagen structure beneath your skin are all listening to what you pour onto your plate. Now, let me pause here for a moment. If you're over 60, or if you're watching this because you care about a parent or grandparent, this information genuinely could change the trajectory of someone's health. Most people never hear this from their doctors. They get a prescription and a pamphlet, and that's it. Nobody sits them down and says, here are the 5 specific foods that the longest-lived humans on Earth eat almost every day. So, if this video is giving you something useful, tap that subscribe button right now. We put out new content every week focused entirely on helping people over 60 live longer, feel stronger, and stay independent. Share this with someone you love. Send the link to your daughter, your neighbor, your friend from church who's been complaining about joint pain for 3 years. This stuff works, and everyone deserves to know about it. All right, back to the food. Food number 4 is dark leafy greens, specifically spinach and kale, eaten daily. Many seniors skip greens entirely. They grew up in an era of canned vegetables boiled into submission, and the taste memory alone is enough to keep them away. That's understandable. But fresh spinach and kale, prepared properly, are arguably the single most nutrient-dense foods available to human beings. 1 cup of raw spinach contains over 180% of your daily vitamin K requirement. Vitamin K is critical for 2 things most seniors worry about constantly: bone density and blood clotting. As estrogen and testosterone levels decline with age, bones lose mineral content. Vitamin K activates a protein called osteocalcin that binds calcium directly into bone matrix, keeping your skeleton dense and fracture resistant. But the benefit that connects to looking younger? That's the folate. Spinach and kale are extraordinarily rich in folate, a B vitamin involved in DNA repair and cellular regeneration. When your cells divide, which they do constantly in your skin, your gut lining, your blood, folate ensures that the genetic copies come out clean. Low folate levels are associated with accelerated telomere shortening. Telomeres are the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes, often compared to the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, those caps get a little shorter. When they get too short, the cell stops functioning properly or dies. Folate slows that shortening. It is, in a very literal biochemical sense, an anti-aging nutrient. Sauté a large handful of spinach in olive oil with minced garlic and a pinch of red pepper flakes. The leaves wilt down to almost nothing in 90 seconds, shrinking into a dark, glossy, savory pile that tastes nothing like the soggy canned spinach of your childhood. Add it to scrambled eggs in the morning. Toss raw baby spinach into soups during the last minute of cooking, stirring until it just softens. Blend kale into smoothies with frozen banana and a spoonful of peanut butter. The sweetness of the banana buries the bitterness entirely. Eat greens every single day. Your bones, your brain, and the very DNA inside your cells are responding to every serving. The fifth and final food is walnuts. Not almonds, not cashews. Walnuts specifically. And the reason comes down to a unique nutritional profile that no other common nut can match. Walnuts are the only tree nut that contains a significant amount of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. We already talked about omega-3s with salmon, but walnuts provide a complementary form that your body converts into EPA and DHA at small but meaningful rates. More importantly, walnuts contain an unusually high concentration of L-glutanins, polyphenols that your gut bacteria convert into a compound called urolithin A. This compound has generated enormous excitement in aging research over the past decade. Urolithin A activates a cellular cleanup process called mitophagy, in which your cells identify damaged, malfunctioning mitochondria, the tiny power generators inside every cell, and recycle them. Fresh, healthy mitochondria replace the broken ones. Energy production improves. Cellular waste decreases. The visible result over time is skin that holds its structure, muscles that maintain tone, and an overall vitality that seems to defy the calendar. A 2020 study published in Nature Medicine confirmed that urolithin A supplementation improved muscle endurance in elderly adults by increasing mitochondrial efficiency. Walnuts are one of the richest dietary precursors to that compound. Eat a small handful every day, about 14 walnut halves, roughly 1 ounce. Keep a jar on your kitchen counter where you can see it. Grab a few after lunch. Chop them coarsely and scatter them over oatmeal alongside those wild blueberries from food number 1. Press them into the top of banana bread batter before it goes into the oven. The slightly bitter, earthy flavor of a good walnut, that faint tannic dryness on the back of your tongue, is the taste of your mitochondria getting a second wind. So let's step back and look at what we've built here. 5 foods. Wild blueberries for cognitive protection and antioxidant defense. Wild-caught salmon for omega-3s, brain structure, and skin elasticity. Extra virgin olive oil for cardiovascular health and systemic inflammation reduction. Dark leafy greens for bone density, DNA repair, and cellular longevity. And walnuts for mitochondrial renewal and sustained energy at the cellular level. None of these foods are rare. None require a specialty store or a second mortgage. A week's supply of all 5 costs less than a single dinner at a mid-range restaurant. And yet, eaten consistently, every day, month after month, year after year, they create a compounding biological advantage that shows up everywhere. In the mirror, in your energy levels at 3 in the afternoon, in the ease with which you climb a flight of stairs, in the sharpness of your memory when your grandchild asks you to tell that story again, the one about the summer of 1974, and every detail arrives vivid and whole, like you're standing in it. Margaret Chen didn't discover some exotic miracle supplement. She didn't undergo cosmetic procedures or follow a punishing exercise regimen. She ate real food. The same real food with small variations almost every day for over 2 decades. Her body responded the way human bodies have always responded to consistent, high-quality nutrition. It thrived. You can do the same thing, starting today, starting with your very next meal. Your body is still listening to you. It doesn't matter if you're 62 or 89, your cells are still dividing, still repairing, still responding to every nutrient you give them. The question is whether you're giving them something worth responding to. Pick one of these 5 foods, just one. Add it to your routine tomorrow morning, then add another one next week. Build the habit slowly, gently, the way you'd coax a garden into bloom. Patient hands, consistent water, trust in the process. If this video gave you something valuable today, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a new upload. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 foods are you going to start with? I read every single comment and I'd love to hear from you. And please share this video with someone you care about. Send it to your spouse, your sibling, your best friend from 40 years ago who still picks up the phone on the first ring. Everyone deserves to know that it's never too late to change the way they age. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.